We now progress over to the AFC East, and this is a division that I think a lot of people look at this division and feel like it's the Bills' time, and rightfully so. No Tom Brady means that the evil empire is over in New England, correct? I think that's the assumption made by most. Let's take a look at this division and see if I believe that to be the case. So obviously last year, the Patriots won the division at 12-4, 4-2 in the division, but the Bills were nipping at their heels at 10-6, and they were 3-3 in the division. Both of those teams qualified for the postseason last year, and we saw the Bills almost beat the Texans on the road. Should have beat them in Wild Card Weekend. Meanwhile, the Patriots were dispatched of by the Tennessee Titans. And nonetheless, the Jets 7-9 last year, a really strong finish to the season once they got Sam Darnold back from mono. He came in, he played well, and they took care of business down the stretch. So a lot of Jets fans are excited about this season after the finish to the season last year. I'm not so much. 3-3 in the division for the Jets. Or 2-4, excuse me, for the Jets in the division last year. And then finally, the Dolphins 5-11 last year, 2-4 in the division. And remember, the start to the season had a lot of us believing that the Dolphins could easily go 0-16. I mean, their first two games last year against the Ravens, and I believe it was the Patriots in week 2, were just all-out assaults. They were ass-thrashed, and it looked like they were going to be a team that easily could go 1-15 or 0-16, and they kind of got it together, man. And I think that's a testament to their head coach and the culture that he set. They turned things around, and so 5-11 is what they finished last year. Let's take a look at this division, though, and you start with the Patriots. Cam Newton fascinates me in New England. I don't know what this offense is going to look like, but there's a love fest between he and Bill Belichick right now, and I still question the weaponry out there, but here's the thing. A healthy Cam elevates the players around him. He did it in Carolina for years. They never really had tremendous weaponry out there around him in Carolina, and he always elevated their play. And so if he's right, and he's the Cam Newton of old, Julian Edelman will be more than enough with a sprinkle of N'Keal Harry and some of the other guys that they have that they really like at the receiver position to get them over the top and have them playing good football. But I still question Cam's health. And is he truly right? Yeah, he looks good. Everything seems to be checking out right now, but he hasn't been hit. We'll see if he's able to stay healthy. I got questions about their defense. I was looking at on Twitter, and Aqib Talib was talking about all the tight ends that they have to play this year and how Bill Belichick was offering him $5 million, $6 million to come out there and just cover tight ends. So that means they feel like they've got an issue at the tight end position, or covering tight ends at the safety position or corner position. You know, Belichick loves to move pieces around and try to win that way. I think they've got some issues. They've got a lot of guys that opted out of the season this year, and none bigger than, of course, Dante Hightower. They've got some questions at the running back position with some injuries and things of that nature. A lot of questions, just not enough answers for me right now with this Patriots football team. I never like to count out Bill Belichick, and I'm not going to, but I don't think they're going to be a playoff team this year. I've got them at 8-8 this season. They're going to be in some ball games, and again, if Cam Newton is right and right for 16 games, this easily could be a 10-6, 11-5 ball club. But I'm banking on him being injured at some point this season, and I'm banking on this team just not having enough talent to win some games that Brady would have willed them to a season ago. I've got them 8-8 this season. Meanwhile, I've got the Bills this year coming in and having a chance to assert themselves as the new kings of the AFC East. It's been a long time since anyone other than New England has been able to make that claim. But I don't think the Bills, and they've had a really good offseason. The Bills really have, and they've been quiet, and I like quiet off seasons. Those usually go well. And I think they've been kind of under the radar. And I look at the Bills and I say, man, I'm a Josh Allen fan. I know a lot of people out there aren't Josh Allen. And look, some of the things he did in that playoff game last year, I will admit, not the type of things you like to see from a guy that you think is the future at the quarterback position. You know, he did some really reckless things with the football last year, but I'm a Josh Allen guy through and through. I think he is very talented, and I think he's ready to take the next step. And I think the Bills organization believes he's ready to take the next step, which is why they invested the amount of resources that they did in getting him players that can help him win. And so I look at the Bills and I look at their offense and the addition of Stephon Diggs. They already had two guys that were really good receivers in John Brown and Cole Beasley. I love Dawson Knox. You know how I feel about him at the tight end position. I think this is going to be a big year for their running back group. I think they've done some interesting things in the draft as well. They got a really good edge rusher, AJ Epineza. I just think the Bills are set up to be a good football team, but I think there are going to be some bumps in the road. However, because of the division being the way that it is this year, I think this is going to be one of the worst divisions in football. Let me just say that right now. I don't think this is going to be a very good division this year, but I think they're going to be good enough to be the best of the worst. Okay. And so I've got the Bills at 9-7, winning this division and being the only team in this division to qualify for the postseason. I've got the Jets as a bad football team this year. First of all, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Adam Gase. Never have been, probably never will be. I think Adam Gase is no less, okay, I think he's really good at his job, but no more than an offensive coordinator. I don't think he can be in control of an entire roster. I don't think he's a leader of men. And so I think he is a guy that can do some really good things with Sam Darnold. I just don't think they have a lot of talent out there, to be honest with you. I look at that football team and, you know, they're one or two injuries away at some key critical spots from being really bad. And, you know, you're asking young guys like Denzel Mims to step in and really produce for you. I mean, outside of Jamison Crowder, what do you really have at wide receiver? So you're asking Denzel Mims essentially to come in and be a number one right away, and I don't think he's ready for that role. Plus, I think their tight end room is a little weak. I look at their team overall. Le'Veon Bell seems to be at odds with the head coach. That's a mess. I just don't like the chemistry in that locker room. I don't love that Jamal Adams is now gone. I don't like that CJ Mosley is opting out, even though he really didn't play last year. I just think this is a team that has a lot of growing to do, and I don't know if this is the right man for the job. I think this is a 4-12 team is what I'm essentially telling you. I don't think they're going to be very good this season. I could be wrong. And, you know, after watching them at the end of the season last year, 4-12 might be a little low for them. I'm going with 4-12. I just don't see them being very good this season. And then I've got the Miami Dolphins finishing 6-10 this year. I think that's a little bit of an improvement, not much on 5-11, but you know, they're not starting Tua, which is going to be their future. Fitty is going to be competitive. We saw what he did last year. I think they're a much better football team, honestly. I just think you look at the divisions that the AFC East, this is why I think the AFC East is going to struggle. At its core, they're playing the AFC West and the NFC West. Arguably two of the best divisions in all of football. I think the NFC West is the best division in football. So when you look at the divisions that they're playing, that's why I think they're going to struggle. Not because all of these teams stink. I just think the Dolphins aren't better than any of the teams in the NFC West. I think they're not better than most of the teams in the AFC West. So they're going to struggle. Then you're going to struggle inside the division. And so I think when it's all said and done, they're going to be a much better team. The record isn't going to reflect that, but they're going to be in ball games. They're going to have a chance. And late in the season, we're going to see Tua. He's going to make plays. We're all going to be mesmerized by him. And we're going to be high on the Dolphins going into 2021. And I think Brian Flores has this program going in the right direction. And I like a lot of the moves that they made this offseason. They got better as a roster this season. I just think they are overmatched with the teams that are on their schedule. I just think they're going to run into some teams that are just flat out better than them at where they are in the process. Next year, they may be a lot further along in the process and be able to win some of the games that they're going to lose this season. But I actually like what they're doing in Miami. So the AFC East goes as follows. Bills at 9-7, win the division and qualify for the postseason. They're the lone team to do so from this division. Then the Patriots finish up at 8-8, just miss out on the postseason, followed by the Dolphins at 6-10 and the Jets at 4-12.
LouieTeeNetwork.